I'm going to sleep in this morning. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to record this part just because there's some good stuff that I want people to access. But yeah, I know. I'm trying to play around with the right time for everybody. But I think there's no perfect time because everyone's got a lot of stuff going on. And
Right.
so I'm okay with that. So I went this week. I know you've kind of tuned into a few of the posts, but with words and how it impacts like all the parts of our day. And it kind of goes along with some of the things that we've talked about with your circumstance at work. Um, so so I want to start with disempowering words. And I think we all have them. Um, and I think, one of the things is that it affects so much more than we realize, and a lot of it internally. We don't even realize the words are happening. But what I would like, and I gave some assignments this week, and about it, is for you to be able to bring it to the surface so that you're very aware of the words that are being said to yourself. Okay, so let's kind of explore that a little bit. Okay, do you have any, for you, Jen, are there any words that come up in your head or things that you say to yourself on the regular that you are aware of? Let's bring that to awareness.
So for me, like the phrases or words that I wrote down, like I don't know why, but I always tell myself, I can't do this. You can't do this.
Okay. So a lot of it has to do with what you're capable of doing. And okay, so have you explored to where that originated from? Let's dig a little deeper here. That I can't. Do you remember the first time you felt that way? Like, think back in time.
I think I've always felt like that.
Okay.
I think when I was little, I just was always my brother was always older. Obviously, he's always going to be older. He's older. He was always older, so he was always like, he would always treat me like I was kind of stupid. He still kind of does. But I don't have to see him, so that's the bonus of that. But he, I mean, he was always like, oh, well, I'm older than you, so I'm smarter. And that never correlated to me, like, at all. Like, just because you're older doesn't mean you're smarter. Like, I'm good at things too. Like, I'm better at you than some things. And of course, that's just life, right? Like, I always thought that when I was little, but it was always that overarching thing where he would just always say, well, you can't do that, or you can't do that because you're a girl, or you can't do that because of, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So,
and I don't know that my mom ever like corrected him. Like, she would always be like, well, he is older than you. Like, that doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. So I think that might have been where that started from.
Okay.
But I'm not entirely certain.
Well, I mean, we might not always know the reason, and we don't have to necessarily, but we know that it's been something that's been part of you for a long time. So it sounds like in your brain, you're like, I know that I am capable of XYZ. I know even as a child, you questioned it. Just because you're older doesn't mean you're better than this XYZ, but something permeated you enough that you occasionally say those things to yourself, and that's, I think, just part of our nature as humans, that we absorb a lot of stuff in our environment without even realizing it. So it's not necessarily your brother's fault necessarily, but it might have been a piece of it, might have been different things. There's a lot of things that happen in our lives that affect how we think about ourselves. So one thing that can be powerful, one thing that I was listening this morning to a podcast, and it talks about how what we put in our brains obviously is a perception on our life, right? We have different perceptions. I think differently probably than you do, than the next person, XYZ. But at the same time, it's a perception of what we have experienced. What we have experienced before no longer exists. I don't know if you watched the video I posted Thursday.
I haven't had a chance yet. The TED Talk.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting look on things, and she talks about how the past is the past, right? And not that we're stuck in the past necessarily, but it's no longer a reality. What we have right now is right now, and it's just a series of events. So when we get hooked up on thought patterns or past things that have happened, it's shifting our brain to recognize, like really shifting. And I think we all cognitively know, like the past has happened, whatever, but really shifting our thinking, like that is not, it's not even real. What has happened in the past is not even real. And we are now at the point where we can simply make choices, like we've talked about being intentional, choices right now that serves us and our thought patterns right now. We can only focus on now and the very near future, and keeping our focus on that. So that's just something that I thought was powerful. But so if you have a chance to watch that TED Talk or listen to it on the way to work or whatever, it's interesting. It's a experience that she went through with her sister's death and how it impacted her. And then she worked with a therapist, a hypnotherapist, in fact, which I, don't have a lot of experience with that, but it was interesting, the change of thought patterns that happened with that. Okay, so back to yours. You said the I can't word has been something that comes. Any other words that come to your head that you've, or maybe it's not words, maybe it's just like a feeling or a negative anything. Moving forward.
So like I always, you can't do this. Okay. You're not make it. Mm-hmm. Things are never going to change. And no one likes you, or like the things that I say to myself all the time.
Okay, good. And you've put it out in the universe now because you've shared it. So that's good. Because what it's doing now is you're owning that this is something that you struggle with. And by the way, a lot of people struggle with those exact words. So you're in good company. So let's talk about how has it served you? And I'm not saying like in negative ways, like what has it done for you? And why do you think that it has been in the forefront of your mind? What has it done for you? So let's start with nobody likes you, for example, because that was the last one you said, I think. Saying those words to you, what does it protect you from? What is it doing for you?
So if I automatically say that, then I automatically know, and I don't really have to try to like make that connection with someone.
Okay.
So then I protect myself from like rejection or from like what could happen if they're trying, if we do make a connection.
Gotcha.
Then I don't have to worry about, all the other things that go with that.
So it served a very powerful purpose for you, that particular statement, for example. We're just using it as an example. It has served a powerful purpose that it has protected you from potential harm. So, and I think that sometimes people are like, why do I say these things to myself? Because they have a purpose. They're doing it. You have created a rationalization in your head, for whatever reason. And we can analyze it all we want, but I think analyzing doesn't necessarily fix it. But I think the thing is recognizing it has served you in some capacity. And that's why you've stayed connected to that particular thought pattern, as is some of the other ones that you said. Give me an example of one of the other ones that you said. I can't do this.
You're not going to make it.
You're not going to make it.
And nothing's ever going to change.
Nothing's ever going to change. So all of those words, and maybe do this on your own time, Jen, is like write those down and really find what it served a purpose for you. What positive, I want to, quote unquote, positive purpose has it served for you, because that's why you're tied to it. And then what we need to do is, and it sounds like you'd say those things consciously or unconsciously, regularly, is identifying a different connection for you that is, because that is a strong connection. You've made a strong correlation between keeping yourself safe from getting hurt by someone and and those words. So how we're going to break that pattern truly is going to be finding a stronger connection, a stronger purpose for doing the opposite. So the opposite of nobody likes me or no one's going to like me, we have to find a powerful statement that is opposite but true, and something that we can back up with some strong, compelling evidence that is going to push you from thinking those negative thoughts. Because we're humans, but we also are reinforced by behaviors, thoughts, things like that. And so you have been continually reinforced to think those thoughts, to keep you safe, to keep you from potentially getting hurt from others, to maybe it alleviates anxiety because maybe you get increased anxiety by meeting new people. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe it serves some purpose. So finding the exact opposite. So what would be for you the exact opposite using that same one of nobody likes me or no one will like me? What would be the opposite for you? What would be another statement for you?
The opposite statement for me.
True. I don't want you to make up something that's like not true. We're trying to reframe your thinking to something that is already true.
Okay, so you have a tribe of people who genuinely care what happens to you and genuinely want to see you succeed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about the evidence behind that. The evidence. Let's talk about the why. Why do people want you to succeed? Why do these people that love you want you to succeed? What have you done for them, or what have you provided? What value have you brought to them? Because let's be real. People want to be in each other's lives because there's a purpose that we provide for them something. So you have provided other people something valuable to them. So let's talk about some of that evidence. How have you been of value to the people that care about you?
I am a cheerleader by nature, so I'm always trying to encourage people around me to, like, the things I say to other people are things that I should say to myself.
Okay.
I'm always cheerleading for them and like hoping the best for them and hoping that they're gonna, succeed themselves. And just making sure that everybody who is part of my tribe knows that I'm in their corner. And I just think that's my thing. I'm just a cheerleader.
Okay.
There to support no matter what the decision is or whatever.
Okay. So you provide a lot of positive energy to the people you love, and you want them to succeed in whatever they're doing. And so I like that you've understood that you don't always do that for yourself, because people gravitate towards that. You want to be able to gravitate towards yourself in the sense that you provide that for yourself so that you kind of fall in love with yourself a little bit. I know it seems corny, but it's true, because you do that for other people. There's more though, and that's what I want to challenge you with this week too, because right now your energy has been on the negative circumstance at work. And it's natural, and because you're kind of in the middle of it, dealing with it, as I want to challenge you to counterbalance that negative energy you've been forced to deal with. It's not your fault that you're dealing with it. You've been forced to deal with it. I want you to also spend an equal amount of energy on the opposite. The people at work who have been in your corner. Who are the people, and what are the evidence that supports that? Because that will completely change. We talked about keeping your focus on the things that you want to stay focused that are important to you. This is going to help counterbalance some of that. So that's something I want to challenge you with, and really thinking about what are the other things, because you have more value than just being a cheerleader. It's important that you're a cheerleader, but I want you to think even more deeply into that. Like, that's my challenge for you this week, because you have a ton of value that you provide people. And so whether you write it down on a list or whatever you decide to do, if it's just something you think about and you are able to come up with, but that's going to be powerful for you to recognize your value is even more than just being a support system to people. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So back to disempowering thoughts, we have to create empowering thoughts about ourselves. We have to create, or not create, but put into words the things that affirm what is true about ourselves that is positive, because we have done a really good job of doing the opposite, you know, of creating evidence and this is why I shouldn't do this, this is why I won't succeed, this is why I won't be able to do this, or this is why I can't do this, is we have to put a lot of effort into doing the exact opposite and make that connection strong. So it's like equal and opposite, you know, kind of measure, kind of like what you're dealing with at work. You have that negative energy coming from that situation. And so you have to consciously make an effort to do the exact opposite, you know, to counterbalance it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So something that this is just a tool that you can use if you want, that can help, that I'm going to be teaching in the Superwoman class that I'm doing, but I want to share this with you guys. So remind me how your mornings look, Jen, like before you go to work and everything. Do you have a routine? When do you work out and stuff?
No, I don't work out in the morning because I need to sleep.
Okay.
But I get up and I do, like, I get ready for work, and then I do my quiet time devotion time.
Okay.
And then I have my breakfast, and then I kind of get ready the rest of the way to go to work.
Beautiful. So you have some time to yourself. You do devotion, you spend time with God, those type of things. So something that you could maybe even on your ride to work too, to help this could be helpful too as you walk into a stressful situation that you're handling right now at work, so that you can walk into your building with the mindset of abundance and all those good things. There's a series of questions, and I can type it out for you guys, that you can sort of get in the habit of asking yourself in the morning or at night. Okay, the first one is, what am I currently happy about in my life right now? And this is a good question to ask yourself every day. It's kind of a gratitude thing. Yes, if you do a gratitude thing, I know a lot of people do it. What is really making me happy today? And I don't want it to be the same thing every day. So if you think of something, when you ask yourself on your drive to work, it might be just something you meditate on as you're driving or whatever. What am I really happy about in my life right now? And bring it to life. It's bringing what you already know to life. Number two, what am I really excited about? We've talked about this before. What am I looking forward to today? What is something that is going to bring me joy today? Number three, what am I really proud of myself for? Maybe it's something that happened earlier in the week or yesterday, or maybe it's something just in general. I'm really proud of myself because I put my clients first. I put my patients first at work. I recognize that this is their home, that I'm trying to maintain the dignity of my work environment, putting it into bringing it to life. Number four, what do I most enjoy in my life right now? Maybe it's spending time with husband. Maybe it's having that devotional time. Maybe it's, seeing my son play piano, or, whatever something that really brings joy to you. And then who do I love and who loves me? And really recognizing that. These are some easy questions you can ask yourself on the regular every day to start reframing our thought patterns. And it's one of those things that has to be a consistent thing to change how we think about ourselves in our lives. We can't just be like, well, I know I'm a good person. I already know that. Well, we all know that cognitively, but changing it so that it's embedded in us, because it's like you said, when you say, I can't do this, or I XYZ in your life, it's something that started when you were young. So you've done it over and over and over and over and over. So it's just like part of who you are. You have to do the exact opposite over and over and over and over again, so that it becomes a routine. It's just like with working out. They say like 21 days of doing it of your day-to-day. So it's something you have to cognitively do. Another thing you can do, you don't have to, is at night, just a simple thing before you go to bed. Maybe it's a conversation with husband. Maybe you write it down. Maybe you just think it. What have I done for the day? How have I contributed to life, my life, or the life of someone else in my family, at my work, at the grocery store, or whatever? What did I learn today? And what did I do today that added to the quality of my life? So again, so you're kind of sandwiching your day in positivity and creating the evidence in your life that you need to affirm what you cognitively know about yourself so that it becomes embedded. So you're sandwiching it in the morning. What am I going to do? What am I proud of? Who loves me? All those things. And at the end of the day, what did I do to contribute to the life of myself or someone else? And what can I do? Or, just really kind of giving a good reflection in a positive way about that, even amongst a negative circumstance. So it's forcing you to say, okay, I mean, I encounter some of those things too sometimes, Jen, where I'm like in a tough meeting because I'm in a lot of IEP meetings. Most of them go pretty good, but once in a while, we come across a tough one. I'm challenged in one way or the other, and it's easy for me to focus on the negative piece of it. So it's forcing me to focus on, okay, what did I do well in this situation? How did I contribute? Whatever, those kind of things. So it's challenging us a little bit more. So I'm going to post those questions in the group so everyone can use it as a resource if you'd like to help, because those are the things that we all need to, including myself, need to do on the regular so that we are working on changing those thought patterns. And when we change those thought patterns, it can effectively change a lot of things. It changes how we look at our life a little bit differently. It keeps our focus on the things that are important to us. It helps us look at negative situations a little bit easier. Sometimes it helps us reach our goals a little bit more effectively, whether it's a fitness goal or maybe it's just something with your kids, or maybe it's a bigger goal of writing a book, or I don't know, whatever it is. Our thoughts are everything. Okay, with all of that said, what is something that you think you can do to be able to work towards this goal of changing your thought patterns a little bit, Jen? Like,
I think I will start doing, like, when you put those things, the questions in, I think I'm going to start doing that, because that's going to give me, like, I'll be able to show those proofs to myself day after day, as my mind does think I do need proof for things.
Yeah.
In my brain. So I think that will be good. So I think I'll start doing that. I'm going to start doing that. But then just also, like, when I hear myself saying those things, like, stop myself. Like, no, that's not true.
Yes.
Yeah, challenge my thought. Like, yeah, I always have conversations with myself, because you need an expert opinion every now and then. So like challenging that thought, like, come on, that's not true. That's the stupidest thing you've ever said to yourself, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, like, just allowing the thoughts to then turn into, like, an anxiety, into a, full on panic attack or whatever.
Absolutely. And imagining, like, when you start saying those negative things to yourself, it's like imagining if your spouse or significant other said those things to you, how would you react in that circumstance? You would stop them, right? You would shut them down.
Right.
And you have to shut yourself down from it.
Yeah.
And equate that.
Yeah. Right. Because I would never say those things to my children.
No.
That's crazy. It's crazy talk.
Exactly. Because we're just as valuable as our children are.
Right.
I think sometimes we put other people above our value. We all have value. We all have equal but different value.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start challenging myself, my thoughts, and
you've been doing a good job of it. You have been working a lot on that. So it's just, I think, one thing I was talking to, I have like a business/life coach I work with, and she was like, you can't compare yourself to anyone different than yourself, like other life coaches. I'm like, well, this life coach, they're like, she's like, you have to only focus on becoming better than the person you were yesterday, not better than, or whatever you equate as better than, because there's no better than. Everyone's just different but equal. It's just doing better for yourself every day, or trying to, and then giving yourself grace when things don't go perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so easy to just be like, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. So it's that intentional thought pattern change is important. And PS, like, I'm working on that with you as well. Like, I am working on those thought patterns myself. I am certainly not perfect with any of that stuff because I struggle with it as well. So it's one of those things that I think is important for all of us because it's just natural. I think we've embedded a lot of negative thoughts in our mind through the course of our lives, you know, and it
Right.
like brushing our teeth. It's just there. So we have to really be conscious about that. And then also look into a boxing class.
Yes.
Anything I want you to do.
I'm gonna do that.
Find something, even once a month or twice a month. That would be cool. I'd love to.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked up a friend told me about a boxing club. There's one in Canton or one in Ann Arbor, which is kind of far, but well, not far. It's just a lot of traffic. But then I think there's a like the same one, like their franchise or whatever in Westland, which is closer, less traffic. So I just have to get more information and see.
Get information. Find the one that's going to create the higher likelihood of you following through with it. Obviously, probably the closer one would be a good option, but definitely look into both of them. You know,
yeah,
really fill your cup.
Yeah, the kids school in Ann Arbor, and Alex is where the college where he's doing his band is in Ann Arbor.
Oh.
So now I'm wondering, like, I'm going to look into them both still, but I'm wondering if the one in Ann Arbor, just scoop him up and take all of the kids with me and all of the kids do a boxing class.
Oh, how fun would that be? Oh,
yeah.
I bet you your kids would love it. And how much fun to do with them. Like, that would be a great bonding experience.
Yeah.
Like, kill a bunch of birds with one stone right there. Spending time with your kids, getting fit, feeling strong, being empowered, taking care of Alex and getting him to his places.
Right.
Things all at once. That's like a month's dream.
Yeah. Right. If I could do that, that would be ideal. We'll see. I'm gonna look into it and see how the thing goes on Monday, where Alex is at on Monday.
Yeah.
In terms of all of that, but yeah, they're fighters too. They come by it legally from me, so
yeah.
You know,
that's awesome.
They can channel all that energy for good.
Yes. Well, all kids are like that too. So, I mean, I think it would be how fun. I'm excited to hear if you get something lined up. So keep me posted.
Yeah. I'll do.
All right. Let's move on with our days. Thanks for getting on, Jen, and keep me posted on how things go at work.
Yeah, will do.
Let me know how things are going. Let me know how I can help you out there. So.
Okay.
All right. Have an awesome day. Have a good Saturday.
Yeah, you too.
And I'll talk to you later. My little one's starting to
wake up,
take on the day. So.
Yeah. All right. You have a good day.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
You want cereal?